And the consensus among the members was it was a great success in the world's history of the world. I directed the intelligence community to be a significant amount of intelligence to be declassified, thank the United States, and to thank me personally. And it makes a gigantic difference. Excuse me. And I would remind all Americans, Article 5 is invoked only once in NATO's long history. It's a national security issue. I've been given a list of people to call on here.
What concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. The fact is that the idea, I served in the Senate a long time. The idea of running for office, 1.5 million, so things are moving.
You mixed up Presidents Zelensky and Putin earlier today. Hasn't this now, frankly, become damaging for America's standing in the world?
Have you seen a more successful conference? What do you think? At the very end, I said, Putin. I said, no, I'm sorry, Zelensky. And then I added 5 other names. Look, guys, the idea anybody suggests that look, folks, this is well, anyway, CBS.
Friends, supporters, people who think you've done a great job over the past 4 years.
Well, look, guess what? What have we not done that isn't working right now? If I'm reelected, we're going to make sure that rents are kept at 5% increase of corporate rents for apartments and the like and homes. Union. Well, guess what? Not a joke. And guess what? When unions do better, everybody does better. What did I do? I was told not to go over to Europe, to Asia, including Europe, but Asia, build computer chip factories. None of you thought that would happen. And it's going to grow economies. That the idea...
Your Vice President Kamala Harris would be ready to serve on day one. Can you elaborate on that make her ready to serve on day one if necessary?
First of all, the way she's handled the issue of freedom of women's bodies to have control over their bodies. The limits I've acknowledged I have, that's not true. Look, what I said was, instead of my every day starting at 7 and going to bed at midnight, it'd be smarter for me to pace myself a little more. And if you looked at my schedule since I made that stupid mistake in the campaign, in the debate, just to keep going, not stop, I just got to pace myself a little more. There's 15 time zones a week before. Anyway, that's what it was about. I love my staff, but they add things. I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway. I'm sorry. And so our military is working. I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief, the chief of staff of the military. Second question related to who I got here. I'm well. Well, look. And so what I can say is you're going to get the NATOization of Finland. And about 4 weeks later, I got a call. No, that's not true. Probably 5 months later. I beg your pardon? $55-0 to support Ukraine. 50. Be nice, David. For real. And by the way, I handed all my notes because they had access to over 1 billion people in a market, not 1 billion, but a lot of people in the market. And I think you'll see that investment in Russia, in China, indirect help to Russia in terms of being able to help their economy as well as help them in, as a consequence of that, their ability to fight in Ukraine, for it to be able to, the ability to have. I'm ready to deal with them now and 3 years from now. Look, I'm not ready to talk to Putin. And the idea, look, they have over 1 million people, particularly young people with technical capability. The idea that it wasn't about just, anyway. And anyway, I'm prepared to talk to any leader who wants to talk, including if Putin called me and wanted to talk. The South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Australia. I already mentioned Australia. The first time I met with Golda Meir, I sat. I mean, my numbers are better in Israel than they are here. But anyway, most presidential historians give me credit for having accomplished more than most any president since Johnson and maybe before that. Anyway, Haley Bull, Scripps, or no, Josh Weingrove, I'm sorry. You know, Biden's not prepared to sit with us unscripted. Biden's not prepared to, anyway. From Wisconsin to North Carolina to, anyway. I was in the Senate a long time. I'm going to be going down to the Johnson Library anyway. Control guns, not girls. I mean, the idea, more children are killed by a bullet than any other cause of death. The United States of America. What the hell are we doing? There's so much we can do still. The bulk of the press, what the hell is he talking about that for? Democrat. You did. Neurological exams by a neurologist. And they say, I'm in good shape, okay? You talk to my staff, all of you talk to my staff. Sometimes my staff talks a lot. I've laid every bit of the record out. Hadn't hidden a thing. No matter what I did, no one's going to be satisfied. Did you have 7 docs? Did you have 2? Who'd you have? Did you do this? How many times did you?
If they have second thoughts, are they free to vote their conscience?
Obviously, they're free to do whatever they want, but I got overwhelming support. I won, I forget how many votes I won in the primary. That's the democratic process. It's not going to happen. I served in the Senate a long time. The campaign really hasn't even started, but it's awful start from scratch. You have any want to follow up on any of that you just asked me?
Yes.
There's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
In your opening answer, you referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.